Hello and welcome to another episode of UKVersus. Sorry about the little issue there. The Discord did not want to play long. So today we're going to be going over a little bit of news because there's not been much thanks to no bans and stuff, which is the big
Yep.
one. And then we're going to go over the top 8 deck lists from Vegas, which is really interesting. And then we're going to crown our winner of the Season 2 draft. It was a close race at the end, apart from the guy in 6th, down in 5th, who got a third of the points of the person in first.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Yeah. Another week of news. We've got a few odd bits to cover. Obviously, the big thing. Obviously, we've got Nationals coming up, and I just had the Vegas RLE. And yeah, I guess on the screen you can see that lovely image that Mr. Holder dug up from somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean, I assume this is an official artwork from something. I don't know what Hero Fest is. That seems weird, but rather than having Hero Fest.
I
Um,
assume it was
but
something
yeah.
that went along with a con or something that went along in Japan. But
Yeah.
Mr. Holder's found this, and it does seem to correlate with all the art that we've seen for the promos. So it's a good shout that the alt art characters are more likely going to be these 17 characters.
Yeah, so obviously, so if you don't know, in Jetburn, one in every 18 boosters is either going to be an alternate art character. Well, no, one in 18 isn't. It's an alternate art character, isn't
Yeah,
it? And I believe it's one of these 17. And we didn't know what they were, how many there were. We've had 5 spoiled so far, so All Might True Form. We
Erase
had
Head 2,
Eraserhead 2, Deku 5,
Kirishima
Genki
2,
2,
and Kirishima 2.
Kirishima 2, and what was the other
That's
one?
it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. And they all had the same art, and they all had like X out of 17 on the
Yeah.
bottom.
Oh, okay.
Um, and obviously, I mean, for someone, as like say, Andrew found this image online, and if you do a quick count, there are 17 characters there, and the art is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to get a Nomu in the sort of shirt and tie and hoodie get up.
But
Much to
if you want a Nomu with a hoodie, go speak to Jacob, aka Nomu Guy, at the upcoming
yeah,
HLC or US Nationals, and he's got some Nomu hoodie stickers.
yeah, obviously hood coming up makes sense. So yeah, it's going to be these 17 characters, and all of these are going to be the arts. I mean, yeah, sure, it's reused art stuff, but that sort of makes sense, like for them to reuse some art assets because obviously it's really hard for them to get art approved. So um, not unreasonable, and like not an unreasonable set of characters.
No,
I think I think realistically the guess is that next set is My Villain Academia, right? That's the
I
sort of
really
guess we're gonna go with.
no.
Are
So
we not that far ahead in the future of the show?
the music festival arc's been covered here, but the starter decks sort of like hint on uh, the Class A versus Class 1A versus Class 1B.
Hmm.
And because none of the characters are from Class B, I think that'll be the next set, and then My Villain Academia, because Deku's
I I suspect that the next set will be titled again. This is my completely no information. Haven't even watched the show to this point. Just the bits and bobs I know. Right. If you look at Jetburn, obviously the main thing is that whole Endeavor Hood battle
yeah
arc thing, right? And the music festival. And music festival's kind of like tagged on with some of the heroes like Jiro and stuff. But the main thing is that big fight with like Hawks and Dabby and all that stuff going on. And I suspect the focus will be My Villain Academia, and that's where let's say there's 17 characters, there'll be 10 to 12 villains, or however many, like 10, let's say 10 villains of the My Hero Academia part of that set, and then the equivalent of the music festival in this set will be the 1B, and that's how they get some heroes in that set. Will be the 1B stuff.
I get
Pure
that.
speculation.
But the way the story went, the way the story arcs are working, they essentially did have to go backwards because my Villain Academia happens after Class 1 versus Class B, and it's where Deku first goes crazy with Black Whip, and we get Class 1B, which is something people have been asking for. We'll get a new Ibara. We'll finally get Kendo.
Yeah.
You find out more about Monoma's quirk. We get Black Whip. We get
Yeah, they obviously don't care about Monoma. He can go in the bin.
we get Manga. We get Manga. I love Manga. His face is just a speech bubble, and he just creates manga panels on his head to talk.
Okay.
We get a character who lives and absorbs through shadows.
That was who we thought from the spoiler document, right? When they talked about someone was liking face down attacks or blank attacks. That's who we speculated it was going to be, right?
Yeah, when I saw,
or at least you did, I think.
Yeah, when I saw Snap out of it, I thought, okay, if they're covering Class 1A versus Class 1B, just to cut to my Villain Academia next, that would be perfect. But yeah, I think the next one's going to be Class 1A versus Class 1B when we're going to get the new Shinzo. We're going to get
it's either that or they. Yeah, it's probably too much to do in a Plus Ultra kit, right?
The Plus Ultra kit for this one's got to be more pro heroes because we're missing Mirko.
Yeah,
we're missing Gangorka. Gangorka is one that should have been around because they've covered his act.
Like for me, who knows very little about the thing, like, I'm at least aware of Gangorka being a thing, and obviously, you're holding a hat on and getting a washy wash.
Oh yeah, he's one of the top 10 heroes. He has to have a washy card. But I want Gangorka because Gangorka has a brand of cereal called Gang Orcos, and it's
Okay.
But yeah.
So these basically my speculation was that obviously we've got 17 heroes here, and then in My Hero Academia we'll get 17 art villains, right? In a similar kind of cohesive.
I hope we do. Hopefully they'll keep up with the Chrome stuff, and next set we'll get maybe a mix of heroes and villains, and then in My Villain Academia, which is going to be all about anime Dr. Doofenshmirtz and his crew, we're going to get Awakened Toga, we're going to get Awakened Shigaraki. Dabi doesn't actually show up that much, which is kind of ironic. He's too busy with the Nomu project, so I'm going to be a bit disappointed there. But before that, we have Yu Yu Hakusho.
So that's So again, obviously, no one knows how that's going to fit into like formats, right? So currently, we've got the MHA block format, and welcome, Omar. I don't recognise your name. Obviously, first time in chat, so welcome to the chat. Obviously, I don't know any. Literally, my only sort of interaction with Yu Yu Hakusho is being aware it was a previous set in UKVersus, right? In UBS. And hello, Scavenger.
Nice to see you all.
Yeah, like I don't know anything about it, and if that's going to be, if we've got effectively Jetburn coming out November, and then the next set, which would have been.
If we get
where League of Villains was this year,
so
if that is now
March,
big boosters. If now the big booster set is Yu Yu Hakusho, like how does that fit into the block format? Does it not form part of the My Hero block format? Does My Hero block format go away? Is it become standard? Like I think that's a big deal.
Yeah,
a big deal for a lot of people because a lot of people, there are people who just play UKVersus because they enjoy the game, right? There are people, the old heads who just don't necessarily care about the IP. But there are a lot of people who do not give a shit about anything but My Hero, right? They came in for My Hero and are not really interested in other IPs. So,
but then again, on the other side of that, you got people like Murray, the head judge of the UK, who hasn't played any MHA because MHA doesn't interest him. But as soon as Yu Yu Hakusho came out, I immediately messaged him going, "Are you going to be playing it?" And he's like, "I'm considering it because of it." And the Dobbers actually have a video coming out about this topic of like what sets people want to actually play. But I started the anime. I am 56 episodes in. This announcement was last week. So it's a testament to how good the show is. On my Facebook page, on the Discord, I have been ranting about some of the things that happened. One of my old friends back up north in Wigan, Mike, I've been talking to him about it. We both have an appreciation for the Aussie Daddy shoe. I have immediately also asked UVS if we could have shoe as a preview, and they said, "Get your sub numbers up, then we'll talk." It's like, okay.
Okay, right. So everyone in chat and everyone watch on YouTube, go subscribe.
So
Hopefully,
yeah,
we'll get a preview.
if you
Do
watch
it.
it, if
Press
you
the
watch,
subscribe button. YouTube, that Dabby guy, or search for UKVersus on YouTube. Press all the buttons. Come on.
so yeah,
And
if you're on
watch them.
YouTube, please subscribe. We do appreciate it, but it will help us get previews. Do not let Dabby free slip through our fingers again. Oh yeah, Omar Hunter's amazing, and I'm so happy that he's back working on it. After taking a long break, I hope he keeps his health. But yeah, as soon as I watched it, I messaged him going, I can see where Hunter drew a lot of inspiration from this. And then Mike Hardiman messaged me going, "There's this weekly shout out," commented on the post going, "Yeah, it's the same author." I was like, "Okay, no, I know."
Yeah, I'm not really an anime person, right? I'm sort of vaguely aware of these things, but like I dabbled a bit with the actual My Hero show after I got into the game, but yeah. Again, I play for the game, right? I don't necessarily care too much about what the setting is, as long as it's sort of vaguely cohesive.
No,
For me, the main thing is how this stuff impacts competitive formats.
Yeah, well,
Like,
they did.
I'm a spike at heart, right? So
during the roadmap last year, they did announce that there's My Hero Academia would be a format, but then there's going to be multiple, which I think is going to be what's replacing. Going to replace standard.
Yeah, there's been lots of like hints and coming soon, and we're doing things and stuff. But until we get a concrete, and this must be something they're working on in the background or finalising or what have you. Like until we get that concrete article, probably I'd imagine from Bill Stark saying this is how our formats are going to shake out and how the competitive structure everything is. Because obviously, however those formats shake out ties very strictly into how the competitive scene of next year, and obviously a lot of people are going to be interested in how that competitive scene shakes out.
Yeah, well, Tim Keefe posted on Discord saying that he expects MHA to still have events and MHA block to still be very high spot because it's the biggest IP at the minute. But for competitive advertising, competitive events and stuff like that, not to be solely MHA based. So we may still have regional license exams, but they won't be the sole. They won't be the big bad event that we have because we'll now have the multiple events. We'll now have more generic names for the events. Like we might see UKVersus Worlds featuring the HLC. It's not all going to be My Hero Academia centric. It's going to be more incorporated into UKVersus as a brand.
Yeah, so as Scaven just says, once UU is out, there's only 3 pre-MHA sets left in standard. Just cut them off early, no more complain. I think I would not be surprised at all if that's the thing they go to. Like they get to that kind of their first non-MHA set, and they say, right, standard is now MHA onwards, which means they can cut off gauge, multiple, reversal, and all the kind of toxic crap from the old days. Right, not to say there's not necessarily some toxic crap in MHA, but like all those old keywords that they've since tried to fix.
It could be
Echo, right?
Yeah, it could be even less because if challenger decks affect standard the same way that Street Fighter versus Darkstalkers did or the Platinum reprint did, we could see the challenger decks pushing another set out of standard.
Yeah, usually like ancillary products like that don't kick out, like they don't count towards like the X sets, right? Because they're only small.
But usually they're incorporated into a set, so like DLCs don't push out or star decks don't, but they're incorporated as part of the main set. There is no main set for these challenger decks.
No, so like they'll just be within it. Like So Omar, we're going to get to the LCQs thing and give our thoughts on it, which
Yeah.
probably aren't overly positive, but yeah, we'll give our thoughts on that shortly.
What Omar's saying,
Um,
yeah, I'll get, yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah. Um, yeah. So like, I don't know how they're going to format it. It'd be interesting to see what they go down, because obviously the HLC is still branded, like Hero League Championship is very branded towards MHA.
Yeah.
So the question is whether they keep that same competitive circuit and then have almost like a secondary one for standard, if they want to keep calling it that, or they, do something else. But again, it's very much a no one really knows. Can we have some information, please, so we know
Yeah.
what we're gearing up to next year?
I
Right?
mean, if we get like a Yu Yu Hakusho block as well, because although it's not got the like 200 episodes of My Heroes at the minute, I don't know. I've not even caught up on the last season yet.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I also, so I do apologise. I am sort of goldfishing in the
yeah.
background in preparation for that, so I am paying attention. But
But I would love to see regional license exams and like the Dark Tournament happening as events. But that
yeah,
because that'd be really cool. But we'll have to wait. We're getting close to December. We'll be getting the next roadmap, and I imagine hopefully this roadmap will actually have some road signs and won't just be where they want to go on the destination.
yeah. I mean, I think they sort of have an idea of what they want to do, right? But again, it's that getting caught in that we want to tell people, but we haven't quite finalised it, so we can't tell people, because if we do and it goes wrong, then we're in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, someone pointed out to me that last year, when the first MHA set came out, pre UVS Jasco, announced that the World Championship would be a $250,000 event. But this time we've had no information on what the prize pool is going to be
no,
for the
because it
HLC.
won't be that
No.
amount of cash, right? I think everyone wants to have that amount of cash. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't even know if there would be a cash prize.
We know that
Um,
Japan were not happy about that.
yeah, exactly. And it may be a case of actually you know, where essentially, we were obviously told to get our subscriber numbers up if we wanted to have a preview. It may be a case of the company's now big enough and doing well enough that they have a bit more clout and can do that stuff. I don't necessarily see it, but like maybe. Um, yeah,
De-
we'll just have to see.
Definitely interested. I'm hoping that the HLC this year has a Yu Yu Hakusho preview as well. If it does follow the same release pattern, which would be really cool to see those coming early. And I'd be even if I don't qualify, I'd be half tempted to go over just for that, because I've kind of fallen in love with the show. But we can't just sit on this point. Let's move over to upcoming nationals and the latest news about
Well,
last chance qualifiers.
we'll do the I think we do the RLE first, right? We'll go through that first.
Well, the RLE is going to be like a big thing. This is just going to be our brief thoughts on it, and then we can do the RLE.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So answering Omar's thing first, it's one. You get one passing the torch for entering the last chance qualifier, and that's all you get for no matter how many you actually take part in. So
yeah, so you pay your entry fee, and that effectively allows you access to every single pod that fires, but you only get a single promo.
yeah,
Um, you can enter even if you're qualified, and invites do not pass down. So it feels like it's the worst of the two worlds they could have picked, right? Because originally it was a case of if you got your invite, you can't gatekeep or whatever by entering them. Which makes sense, but there might have been a danger of maybe there's only like 5 people that turn up that don't have their invites, and a pod doesn't fire, and they're all kind of left. And also maybe they want to give them a chance to everyone to get their last minute invites. So they get 30 people into these LCQs, and maybe 6 need their invites, and so maybe that they give them a chance to actually get those pods firing.
Yeah, especially for ourselves and Oceania, which even some people invites aren't coming to the event. There won't be too many people showing up that haven't got invites on the Friday. But
yeah, I mean, they said it was to do with admin, and I understand that, right? Because someone having the spreadsheet of these are all the people that have got their invites, and someone having to maintain that doesn't necessarily make sense, or doesn't is too much work for them to be doing on like nationals weekend.
Yeah, it's also a case of
I
how do
don't
you.
know that I necessarily buy that, but like, sure.
It's a case of how do you regulate it as well. If they seal off my email address for UGN and go, this email address can't enter last chance qualifiers, what's to stop me just signing up with a different email address?
Yeah. Um, you can't scavenger, but also you sort of can.
No, so I think there is a strict thing of 12, 2, 4, and 6 are when the pods will fire, and the single elimination pods.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing about like gatekeeping is obviously just people with their invites going in and just knocking people out where they don't
Yeah.
need them. Um, yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if there is an answer.
So the main issue with that scavenger is it sounds like you can't get them all when you think of it, but you're thinking of it as like a regular event. These are half an hour best of one rounds. So you go in there with a super aggressive deck, and you either lose and get into the next pod, or you're going to knock the other person out because it's a best of one. Uh, Single elimination. So if you go in there with the goal of I'm going to either get knocked out or end it quickly, you can do a 8-4-2 in 2 hours quite easily.
Yeah,
And
I say I don't really know what the answer is because obviously handing down is tricky from an admin point of view, and also with it being single knockout, it's like who then gets the invite and
yeah,
stuff like that. Um,
yeah,
and
there's
like I don't know how popular these events are going to be, and like if you've got your invite, are you really paying 20-25 quid for a passing the torch? Like I certainly fucking wouldn't.
that's the way they've tried to police it is going. You're going to pay you're going to pay $25 and you're just going to walk away passing the torch.
Like
But
even if I needed my invite, that's still a lot of money for one promo and possibly an invite,
yeah.
right? Like else, like PSCs were like most were like 10-12
Uh,
quid.
so Omar, yes, we do. We have all the side events information for nationals. So on Friday, I think at 1ish, Retro will be firing, which is every set that Jasco and UVS have printed. On Saturday, there is I don't know because most people are going to be keep playing, but I think it's just constructed or sealed. And then on Sunday we have teams, as well as 8-man sealed pods and 8-man constructed pods firing when they're full. So there is all the information on there, as well as what promos are for which. But I think UVS have just tried to stop people entering by hiking up the price. I think they should have dropped the promo as well. I think they should just be like 25 quid, get shit into every single one. No promos. If you want to go in there and waste 25 quid just to stop people getting in there, you can do.
Yeah, but also like it just makes it miserable for people to actually want to enter it. Like I say, I was going to say, even if I didn't have my invite, 25 quid for a single promo and a possibility of an invite, like if because a PSC, like I say, was 10-12 quid. You're a fine. You got your plus ultra packs. You got your PSC promos with that was season one's sort of fairly terrible ones,
Mm.
or the good stuff in season two, and obviously bubble gold chances, and obviously your invite. Um, yeah, like it just feels pretty miserable. I don't know whether maybe Sean will sort of up that from his, but I can't imagine he will because it's
No.
sort of mandated. Um,
Well,
yeah, it just feels a bit rubbish.
speaking to Ellie, they were worried that they were going to have to pay each time. I mean,
Yeah, and
uh,
like paying once to do it all, but sure, but maybe like I don't know, like a boost or a win or something, or like a plus ultra pack for every round you play in, or something like that. Like just something.
Yeah, so what they need to do is kind of do what the same thing as what they try to do with the starter packs. They need to make it appealing to people to actually try and get their national qualifiers, but make it not appealing for people to go in there and trying to deny the seats. Now there are going to be people because Andrew Holder's already said that he is going on the Tams channel has said he's going to take part in the gatekeeping.
Oh no, he won't.
No, but
No, he's just trolling. I mean, he
yeah.
might do, but like, I doubt it. I don't think he's gonna. And will he really pay 25 quid for a bit? Maybe.
I did say in the Discord, my only saving thought is that we claim to be the nicest community in gaming. So I hope that stands true and nobody takes part in the gatekeeping.
Well, the thing is, Andrew is a wrestling fan, right? The thing you need to remember is Andrew is a wrestling fan, and he is playing a heel. That's just what he's doing. That is his bit, and it's fine and funny, and sometimes goes a bit too far. Um, yeah, I know he paid £300 to make Tam suffer, but that's like doing it to a friend, right? So, you know, quite often I would happily pay £20 for like my friend to lose 10 type thing because it's funny and they're my friend, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah, I mean, he might do. He might enter them, and that's his choice. And maybe he genuinely thinks that 25 quid he can sell the passing the torch for more than it, right? Quite possibly he can. Maybe they're going to be selling for like 30, 40, 50 quid or something because they're a very
I
popular card.
I
I don't know.
can't think of a single person who would enter last chance qualifiers with the sole intent of stopping somebody else getting it. They'd more be entering to help their friends get another one, and as soon as they're not in their pod, they're like, "Yeah, I'm out."
Yeah. I mean, we'll just have to see how it plays out. But
Yeah,
yeah, they're a bit eh.
I've already started
Um,
working on a Vega deck for retro with the help of Marine Square again. It's awful, and it's basically using a lot of cards that I own,
mm,
with a few borrowed, but it's going to be funny, and it's essentially it'd probably be better with Shiggy 3, but I want to go with Vega because Vega has a desperation effect, which makes you harder to deal with because you gain more speed and your opponent's block modifiers and difficulty go up once you hit
right.
desperation, and has the ability commit when your opponent makes a check, commit that check gets -1. If they pass that check, ready Vega.
Okay.
It doesn't end the combat phase, so they can choose to fail it. But they go with their first attack. They check. They check a a free. You go cool. I'll commit Vega. Pay 3 foundations to pass it. Or let it fail. They don't get to draw. They don't get to do anything like that. It's just like I'll pay the 3. You ready Vega? And you ready for the next one?
Okay.
It's a dumb deck. That's not. That's gonna let me die quickly because it's a 19 health. It's a 719 health. So, but I'm just there to. I'm just there to just go. Yeah, I'm gonna break everything and try and kill you slowly.
Yeah, and just rack out some promos. And yeah, Omar, I'd imagine you will not be the only one if you did that to enter with your MHA deck into the retro just to get some promos, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's
yeah,
what the
for me, I'll be lucky if I get to Sheffield while the time isn't AM. So yeah,
yeah. I'm gonna try and get to Sheffield the same time as the Southampton lot because we're in the Airbnb together this time.
yeah,
Uh, but they're leaving at 6 a.m. on Thursday, and they get there about 2ish. I'm gonna head off in the beast of the new car to try and get there on the same time.
yeah. I mean, yeah. There is a bunch of us coming up from Hastings, so I think there's 5 of us coming up.
Yeah, Brandon was very nice to offer me a lift if I could get to him when my car broke down last week, a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago. But yeah, he said he's coming up.
Brandon's a solid,
Oh yeah,
solid guy. Yeah, so there's 5 of us coming up. 4 of us have our invites. One of them was just coming up for a shits and giggles, also because the other half lives in Sheffield. So,
they got into the last chance qualifier.
no, he's the one I'm having to drive. Because again, he's got work or college. I can't remember which one on the Friday. I think he's working on Friday and then has uni or something. I'm not sure on the Monday because I was considering trying to blag Monday off last minute and stay.
Yeah.
because I know the other guys are staying over on the Sunday night. But he has to get back for Monday, so he's cock blocking me. Yeah, Harry. So yeah, I'm gonna have to literally drive up after work. So probably as early to get out on Friday.
Okay, I'm just gonna let you know that I'm gonna let you know now then that me and Nathan Squire have a plan if we both top cut and get no, me and Liam. Me and Liam have
Mm,
a plan if we both top cut into at any point and we're facing each other.
right.
We're taking a break after game one. We're just gonna go to Mackey's for like an hour because it's on time rounds, and we checked with Apple, and Apple was like, a judge can't issue a warning for it, but if you get the judge at Mackey's, he might let it slide as well.
I'm appealing that shit to the head judge. If I'm also in top cuts, I'm going straight to the head judge, and yeah,
You
you're not
show you show me
you're
where
not
the
at your
rules.
table.
You show me
You're not
in the
at your
rules.
table.
Okay, what if I get it Uber Eats in and I sit at my table with my opponent eating out Mackey's between games?
You're not playing the game. You're not taking game actions. You're stalling. Like it doesn't matter. You still even in untimed rounds, you don't get to take 10 minutes on a turn, right? You can't stall during untimed rounds. You still need to play at a reasonable pace.
That's what Apple said as well. But if I'm fine with it, my opponent's fine with it, and my
And
table judge is
also,
fine.
the other thing is that might lead to me being DQ'd where I can't even just punch you in the face.
At least you get to go home.
Yeah, but you know, neither of us are going to top
Yeah.
that. It's fine.
It's a 1 in a million opportunity, but I said to Liam, like, yeah, bet if we get faced off against each other in top cuts again, especially if it's on stream, we want to just put a note going, be right back, we're going to Mackey's, and just like walk off and get the judge a McFlurry.
Like running off for a piss or to grab a bottle of water, fine. Running off for a Mackey's, fuck off.
I mean, they did it before the finals at a RLE, which was funny. But Liam was just like, if we just do it between games, I was like, it's on time rounds. So I'm just saying.
Yes, again, untimed doesn't mean you get to be a bellend, right? Yeah. So I get there whenever I get there on Friday. So I leave like probably about 3-4 o'clock maybe, with a good 5-6 hour drive.
Having
whenever I get there.
Having to stop to charge twice. You're gonna get there Saturday.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no, it's about a 4.5 hour drive. I think you just kind of bomb it through, right?
Yeah.
Depending on traffic, because yeah, the M25 at like 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon is going to be good. It's going to be fun.
I mean,
so we'll do that.
Omar raises a good point. If we get everybody in the tops to stop after game one
again
and go,
either I am in the tops, in which case it's not happening. I'm playing to the head judge, or I'm not in the tops and I do not give a shit and I'm just going home.
Are you gonna go to the head judge and he's gonna be there with his Big Mac and his McFlurry, like, I don't see anything wrong with this.
Right, and then I'm getting fucking jelly on the phone.
I've already got my Lenoco bribe ready to go. I've got my Lenoco bribe. I say bribe, but he's going to pay me back for this because
it's your
the miraculous secrets which Murray's already said when's content coming to the channel for. It's like I need to figure out how to actually play this first.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not available in America, which is hilarious to me.
So yeah, that's this weekend.
Yep.
I was gonna play Good Giro. I was all set, and now the meme of like friendship ended with boobly boo, and I'm now best friends with Lardy Da, whatever it is. That meme, like, yeah, my friendship has ended with Giro. I just cannot beat Mirio. I don't know whether it's me. I'm playing the deck badly, or whether it is a matchup thing. Like, I'm sure I'm not so bad that both my play and my feelings about what's going on in the matchup are wrong. But yeah, I just could not beat it for life of me. And I'm like, and everyone thinks this like the best deck in the room, and it's amazing, and it's very, very good against like 90% of the field. But if you cannot beat Mirio, like, why are you taking that to a nat?
Yeah, I mean, Mirio has dropped down a bit, but we know there's going to be at least one very good Mirio player.
One of the more, it's definitely going to be popular. There's definitely lots of people playing it. Like, again, so let's have a guess at numbers. Let's say there's 120 at Nats, right? I think
Oh,
it's a
there won't
reasonable
be.
guess.
There won't.
I think maybe not a month, but let's say 100. Let's say 100 people, right, to make it nice and
Okay.
easy. 100 people. I would not be surprised if we say sort of 15 Mirios.
I'd say, but yeah, I'd say about 20, 25 overhauls, 15 Mirios, and then the only other
Bunch of Zeros, bunch of Nomus.
yeah,
Like I
the
think
only other
people are
double
going to be bringing up the top decks.
the only other double digits ones will probably be Jiro, Nomu, possibly Mimic. I know some people have been testing him, and
Yeah,
Rapper. I think Rapper's going to be quite heavily represented.
yeah. But yeah, so if you cannot beat Mirio, I just don't think it's a deck you can afford to play at a nationals event. Like, and again, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've tried changing the deck. I've tried putting like more cheerleaders and broken psyches, and having like I literally played a game where I sideboarded 10 cards in against him, changed into Toru, just didn't fucking work. Like, yeah, I could defend a bit longer, just could kill him. Like even more so
Yeah.
than when I was playing against Jiro. At least
The
Jiro, I had like the theoretical idea that I could race him.
the
But
biggest
like,
yeah the biggest thing Miro is predicting what zone they're gonna call, because the moment they find what zone is hot, you're just in trouble.
yeah, it's not even that, right? You can try and play around it and like get a full block and a half block and try and deal with that stuff, right? But if you compare what the two decks are doing, right? Mirio basically doesn't need any setup. He just needs some attacks in his hand to do his thing, right? And then he draws two during his attack.
Yeah.
And like he doesn't need setup to do his thing. He just needs to play the cards in his
Oh no,
hand.
I got
And
killed.
having a momentum helps with like catch evil doers sort of shit. But like which you can get from Phantom Threat and things like this.
Yeah.
And also then he zone checks you and stacks damage on everything. His defense is very good. Like, you don't get to dunk on him because he's got his face. He's got Eri usually. Like, he can commit out on his turn and just readies all his nice tries and ready something with Eri and it's fine. And like then the vice versa against Jiro, like I need that momentum to try and kill him and do those explosive like sound waves turns and so I have to have that turn of setup, which Mirio doesn't necessarily give you. And like Cannon Blast, doing the kind of futures now Cannon Blast or Capture Net or whatever, doesn't really do a lot against Mirio with the momentum, right? It's like you just stare at the Mirio / area and you're like, cool, what am I doing? And your defense can't stand up to multiple turns of Mirio.
Yeah, I've been turned
Anyway,
to, but
so it
I
won't just be me being terrible and I can't play the match when I'm doing
no.
something really wrong, but she's dead to me now and I'm playing something else.
It's an issue of the super aggro sort of thing. I've been turned to by Emilio on 3 foundations that literally just went Phantom Threat, attack, back alley, Valiant Assault. Then it was Capture Evildoers, clear the board, back alley, Texas Smash. It's like there's literally nothing you can do getting when your opponent doesn't check any red on 3 foundations and is able to launch essentially 5 attacks, yet all coming for at least 7 damage.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Something that probably should have happened a while ago is just had a ping on Discord that Mr. Levi Lalonde, aka Alliteration Gaming, is now officially on the payroll
Hey.
of UVS Games.
Do we know his official title?
He is officially shared to train on top of Jones shares. I mean, it's just a very brief announcement. I don't think
Yeah.
it doesn't say anything
No.
else.
I imagine he's coming in as
But yeah, he gets the little J tag or whatever it was, the UA board.
EVS.
Yeah, I don't know what his official title is, but yeah, I mean, like obviously he's
That's
probably
awesome.
the most. Yeah. So what he actually does, whether he's like head of content or something like that, or
yeah, I imagine it's going to be public relations content sort of thing.
yeah, but like probably something that should have happened already.
I'm very interested to see. Yeah, I'll message him later on. I owe him some Earl Grey, because in his gentle video he was using iced coffee, and I had to go at him.
Okay.
But
marketing coordinator.
Marketing
okay,
coordinator.
that makes sense. Again, like Levi is one of those voices of their community, and like he knows the game and he knows what goes on,
Yeah.
and will bring that knowledge to the company. And and I think UVS taking in those voices that know what they're actually talking about and are in touch with the community, and from the content side, yeah, it makes sense. So
Yeah.
anyway, congratulations, Levi. Good luck with the new job.
Definitely. You definitely were well, awesomely done. And I saw you, Scavenger was saying, I think Matt's coming out. Matt is coming out. I'm giving my bribe to Matt to give to Levi, to give to
I don't know.
Lenoco. And hopefully he's bringing over some red vines, because that's what the bribe's for Matt to bring over red vines.
Fair.
I want some UVS red vines. That was what I.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, if you've been Omar, if you've been playing Eraserhead one for 11 months now, that makes perfect sense, right? It's a deck because that's part of when you go into these big competitive events. It needs to be a character that can conceivably win, and a character you're comfortable with and happy and enjoy playing.
yeah,
And Eraserhead one, if you're playing it for 11 months, that fits both those things because again, he's one of the, if possibly the best deck in the room, and yeah, if you're playing 11 months, obviously something you're happy with and enjoy playing with, and that's a little problem when you've sort of effectively been playing a deck for sort of a few months and then decide a week before the event that yeah, it's you can't play it. You need to find something else.
I think the biggest thing as well is if you've been playing 11 months, you need to know when to cut things that aren't working. So, for example, I've played Dabby for like the last 12 months, and as soon as we hit the Undaunted raid meta, I was like, I need to put Dabby on the back burner because this is not going to work in this current format.
Yeah. So, but yeah, obviously, Racehead won. Literally just won the RLE, which we'll get to a bit later.
I think diversity pricing is a great thing they've done for nationals. I would have hated to see diversity top cut come back, even though I don't play that
Okay.
meta characters. But
So, Scavenger, forgive me, I don't actually know who you are. Obviously, you don't feel free to not dox yourself if you don't want to. But obviously, yeah, I don't know who you are. I don't necessarily know people's IDs to the real life person, but obviously, congrats on topping, and obviously, we'll chat about your deck a bit later. Okay. Hello, Nick.
yeah, you remember Nick from the UK RLE? Oh no, you weren't there.
I
You
wasn't
weren't
there.
You weren't there.
He
Yeah.
came over and stomped everyone with him Endeavour. So, yeah.
Luckily, Nick only comes over once a year, so he won't be here for nationals. He won't be taking our seats from us. We love you, Nick.
Would have been nice to see you.
Yeah.
Glad you're not here to steal our seats.
I'm excited to see what you
yeah.
pull up for nationals because topping with Midoriya 2 was a huge thing.
Oh yeah, you were the you got me those draft points. Good work. And B, the 4 double front beatdowns. Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
It's a card that's kind of fallen out of favor, but it just works. I saw a bit of the stream game where you just you play double front beatdown, built 2, play double front beatdown, built 2, and the commentators just losing their mind going, you just can't check red.
Yeah, I mean it deserves the 1. It's very powerful. So, anywho's. Yeah, Nationals is going to be fun.
Yeah.
We'll see how we do. Obviously, we'll have a recap next week where either we're very, very happy or commiserating each other, or one of us is envious looking at the other one, or however it is. But yeah, obviously we'll see everyone there, and good luck to everyone. Unless you're playing me, in which case
I get to spend the weekend with the lads because I've not seen them since the store closed down. They've been playing at the pub, and I just haven't been able to get down there. So I'm perfectly honestly, holding it in Florida has kind of killed my drive to try and get there. I'm not a fan of Florida, so if I top, and I'm gonna have fun. But what I want to do this weekend is I want to just enjoy the event. I think last RLE I got very stressed because I got 17th, and then that kind of ruined my entire Sunday, and I got very irritable. So now I just want to kind of take a step back and just relax.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and I know sort of Tam did a whole thing on his stream how he was just feeling he was always on the bubble, and he was just sort of getting that that FOMO, right, of seeing everyone else get the tops. And there's two things to remember, right? A, it's a game; it has variance. Sometimes the cards aren't in your favor, and B, as the game gets bigger and people play a lot more, like there are a lot of good players,
Yeah.
and coming 17th is still a good result, right?
Yeah,
It
no.
may not be the result you want, but it's still a good result. And like I think you can't afford to put that much of your, I guess, self worth on your result because it's there's a variance element to it. Like
Yeah.
like I've certainly felt that kind of almost pressure on myself of like I did it last, like I went in last year playing nationals just because my boy wanted to play that, right? And that was it. I just kind of signed up and I thought, fuck it, why not? And obviously he got to Vegas, and now I'm like, I want to go back. I want to go back to the HLC, and it's just like chances are I'm not going to. Like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of good players, right? So
That's what was hitting me for the May RLE. I went. This is the first event, big event that's happened for us since HLC. We are HLC named players. I need to top cut, and I got 16th, and then I went out. And I was like, okay, I top cut. I lived up to my name, and then I got 17th in this one. And Apple said it to me the best. It's a case of I am a named player. People know who I am because of Dabby. They know who I am because of HLC. They know who I am from the way I played. I don't need to make a mark on this game anymore. People know who I am. If people see me top, they go, "Oh yeah, Brett's topped. Dabby guy, of course he's topped." If I don't top, people go, "Oh, they'll top next time." And I want more players to have that. So I'm more than happy not to top this time. If people like Liam, if people like my friend Rob, if people like Grant, who people the old heads know, but not too many of the new heads know, can get their name out there as well. I would love for the EU community to have more named players and have more
yeah, I
people.
mean, for me, it's not even really part of that, right? It's like I don't necessarily care too much. People know who I am. Like I'm just me, and it's like whatever. I just kind of I want to win. I'm a spike, right? I've always just wanted to win, and like when I played Magic, I played the Pro Tour. I didn't. Sorry, and I played the like Pro Tour qualifiers and stuff. Um, yeah, like I just want to win and sort of I guess prove to myself I'm good enough at those sort of those top levels. And yeah, like obviously I'd love to qualify, but I just sort of I don't necessarily have any expectations of it. I think if I was I'd had a deck. I think if I was a lot more confident in Good Giro, where I've been playing it for a lot longer and was happy with it. But yeah, no, he's
No,
just
that's
dead to
fair.
me now.
Yeah, and our resident judges Nathan Squire and Apple are back in to the player pool, so I'm quite interested to see who's going to be filling their boots because that is a big ask, especially with nationals.
Hmm.
And as Nick said, Florida's one of the cheapest to fly to if you go to the right airport. I looked at Bristol; it was 670 quid, and then Nick put a screenshot going, "Yeah, it's only like 350 from from London." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I could sell a couple of a few things, and I could probably get there."
Yeah, no, I mean, like it's sort of qualify and get the freebie or bust for me. Like I'm not gonna fly out for the kicks.
If they
Um,
announce Yu
I mean, and
Hakusho,
also when it comes to nationals, there is part of me, and this is no slight on Nathan. I just want to play him and beat the crap out of him because he's playing minor. And I know that what's going to happen is we're going to get paired and he's going to beat the crap out of me. But that's life.
see, I've got that. Yeah, so one, Apple, you trying to get diversity with Mirio means you have to top essentially.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I can kind of sit in comfort of knowing I am the best player. Well, I am the best player officially within like 100 miles of where I live.
and we still don't know what the those special Comic Con promos look like, right? We still haven't seen
No,
those.
we're going to be the first to actually see those, and hopefully, Matt's going to be bringing an XSR with him because there's going to be an XSR spoiled on stream, and I really
Okay.
hope there's one that we get to look at rather than just having to look at it on stream with everybody else. Because then
Yeah,
now the XSRs are going to start getting spoiled.
yeah, and obviously we've got those giant cards, whatever the shit.
I don't know.
Again,
Apple
full
was talking
pink. I
about
don't know
them.
what they're going to be like. So yeah,
Yes. So Omar, the card battle OVA ones. That's for the OVA that comes out on the 12th. Is 4 promos that is going to be available at every single nationals, and that.
What does OVA mean? I don't know what OVA means.
So OVAs are special episodes that are anime only. They're separate from the manga, and they're not really classed as canon. Kind of like movies.
Okay.
So there's 3 My Hero Academia movies with a 4th on the way.
Why don't they just use the word standalone that normal people will understand?
It's it has a meaning. I can't quite figure out what it is, but it's kind of like filler. It's what filler episodes used to be when they're not manga accurate. So like we've had the zombie arc from My Hero Academia, which was an OVA. The baseball episode, which was an OVA. Mr. Smiley, which was an OVA. If anyone remembers the Digimon movie that came out in the UK and the US, that was just 3 OVAs from Japan stitched together. OVAs are also straight to TV movies that they used to do as well.
Uh-huh. But yeah, obviously everyone, good luck at Nationals next weekend. And obviously for Oceanic and US guys, obviously good luck in your Nationals.
I am going to be pumping Addie. I've played with her quite a lot. She's the current RLE champion. She took my midnight list to try and make it her own as well because she really enjoyed playing against it. So I wish her all the best because she's such a nice person to play with, and we've just been we've chilled for the last couple of weeks.
Who's that? Sorry,
Addie, Adarin. I can't pronounce her first name.
For the Oceania, yeah.
Yeah, for Oceania, the Oceania RLE champion at the minute. She's really nice. Basically, I usually play like 9, 10 a.m. our time before I start my day's like housework. Yeah. So they're the only people that are online.
That's fair.
And as much as people say Oceania is like they could go over to Oceania and get their invite. It's like it's a wild place. You don't get games like you would do over here. They play some wild stuff, and I am dreading going to nationals and playing against people playing standard cards when I've been playing against Oceanic players who have been playing everything out of left field.
Yeah, I mean they tend to have quite a more, I don't want to say trolley, but let's say control-y meta, right? Where there's a lot more kind of recovery girls and Minettas and things like this, right?
Well, I mean, you had Uwabami and you had the 105 card Kirishima that topped.
Yeah. But yeah, I just remember, I think it was, oh God, our honorary EU friend.
Zane.
Zane. Yeah, saying how like everyone just wanted to play control decks, basically.
Love Zane. Zane was such a shame he didn't get top cut on the. He missed he was 9th with his Rapper deck. He could have been the first person to start Rapper.
Yeah, I think so.
He was in the same situation I was, where someone was saying that they weren't going to come back the next day, so but their judges were trying to get him to drop so that they could have a full stack top 8, and he just refused. So, but yeah. But anyway, let's move on to the deck list because we've been going at it for an hour now. But I don't know much about these large cards. And if I get the chance to get one, I'm more than happy to get one. So
yeah, I think they're just raffled off every round, right?
Oh, that'd be cool. It's way for you to kind of stay in the mix. But let's go with the top 8. I've got top 8 number 4, which is I may have messed up the surname now because I was typing quickly, but Douglas Kenasi on Kendo Rapper 1. Now
Sanye,
okay. Yeah. I might have messed up the name. If I have, I do apologise. I've been ill for like the last week, and I've just. The large cards are raffled and revealed in the middle of Swiss rounds. Just to add a cool add-on. So 7 of them are going to go. That's cool. My first thought with this deck is it is a hell of a budget deck. It's small, but it is.
This is I don't want to kind of go with the meme, but it's kind of almost like a standard rapper list, right?
Yeah.
Like it ain't doing now crazy. I don't know why. I mean, I guess like I'm just thinking about the sideboard of like the BMI busters. Like, what are you bringing those in for? Like a longer game?
I imagine
Like,
it's a long game.
do you just but like longer game? You just like you don't want one of those.
Yeah.
Um, and like desperate struggles is like resets, sure, pencil tile, like yeah, but like the main deck, the bullet punches, calorie counter, rapid punches,
Well, I
lose rank pass,
mean,
like it's a standard like lineup for this.
I kind of like the prehensile tail here because apart from quick to act, everything here flips.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's just like why is it in the sideboard? I guess is my question.
Well, there's two in the main board, isn't there?
Yeah. But what again? Which is sort of what do you need the extra one for? I guess maybe more momentum. Hey, but you're running 3 capture evil doers in the main.
I don't think
Yeah,
it's. I think it's more to pick up your own momentum, so you can uh, put one
yeah.
in with both.
Again,
Yeah.
like again, I'm not saying it's not a reasonable card. It's
No,
just
no.
like why would it be in the sideboard rather than the main deck?
Yeah, it's for me. It's just how it's. Yeah, like I say it's a standard kind of list, but the one of calorie counter is pretty cool. Going for the 4 hardened barrages over the 4 rapid punches is really cool. We got Nick saying he
No,
murdered
but
in round 4.
yeah. I mean, I guess we're just trying to like unflip things like our calling for backups and latent skills, right?
Yeah.
Our press conferences, and it just keeps things going. So like getting those unflipped is probably quite valuable. Yeah, like Prehensile Tailor, like it is very good. But like, yeah, I guess
I did
I don't
see
know.
one game of this one where they flipped first form. They flipped window shopping. It was a bullet punches on top.
Mm.
So that was really cool to see because you can either secure your next
That's
check.
artsy.
Yeah, you can either secure your next check or be a 7-hander for a turn.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
press conference is good. It's like it's basically just playing all the card draw, right? It's in window shopping, it's latent skill, it's calling for backup, season brawler, and then big appetite in the side. I guess that can come in against 7-handers? Question mark.
yeah, I mean, Eraserhead's is a big threat.
Yeah, and basically my reason I'm just looking at the sideboard. I'm like, okay, like I want sideboard cards to be impactful, right? I want them to do to sort of either shore up a matchup or I'm transformational or something of those lines. And I'm just like, okay, what am I? What do I really want? Like a third prehensile tail for? Whereas rather, I'm just looking at either maybe you want to take out some of the actions and you just want the extra
So this
sort of
could
stuff
be
on
a
the sideboard.
case of reverse siding, where the
Mm.
main cards for your deck are in your sideboard, but you're running, say, more calling for backups or more attacks that you want to help deal with certain situations, and
Yeah,
then
so like Hiroshima's assistance, right? Um, in a lot of matchups, I guess that's dead, and so you want to be able to side that out for probably something like a big appetite.
but game one
I suppose,
against.
I suppose for me, I'd rather have the big appetites main and then
Hmm.
side in the Kirishima's assistance.
But if you
But
go game one into Mirio and you've got the Kirishima assistants, you're sitting pretty. Then but game two you can always side them out when you're not going against if you're not against Mirio. For
why
Rapper, it doesn't make that much of a difference.
why do you want Kirishima's assistance against Mirio? It just heals the block. What are they
Oh,
doing?
it's sealed block. That's I got it confused with this one.
Mm.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
no, it's good against things like Face Shield, right?
yeah, Faith Shield, Erase, Breakers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it means that you've still got good game against other people. Turn one, sorry, game one, right?
Yeah,
You're not kind of left stranding against things like Face Shield game one. You can always side them out.
Big
Yeah.
Appetite is for 7-handers, and the meta is a little bit of 6 and 5 at the minute. This is what Tokiyami
No,
and
7-handers are coming back, right? So, obviously we're seeing more Eraserheads, we're seeing more Tokiyamis. I imagine the number of Eraserheads in the format is going to go up come to Nationals.
I can't think of a 7-hander I'd want to play at Nationals other than Asui, Eraserhead, and Tokiyami. And they're still quite
Nezure.
fit.
I think that I think Nezure might come out. I know she's not done anything.
Oh, Amajiki. I'm sorry. Yes, Apple Amajiki. I forget
Yeah,
Amajiki's a seven-hander. I do apologize.
yeah, and like again, I think there's those four. There's Nejire Amajiki, Tokiyami, Eraserhead, possibly Asui, but again, I'm not a huge fan of Asui right
Ah,
now. Still very
we haven't.
powerful, but
How many Nitrids have actually showed up at events? Because not one has topped yet. I've been trying to talk like a guy that's been playing Nejire since the set came out into playing Nejire uh, at Nationals, but they've decided to go with All Might 1 instead, which is going to be brilliant to see because they've got some fun stuff on there. But
yeah,
yeah,
again, like I think Nejire is one of those ones that people might have cracked it and then they've saved it for nationals, right? I think there's a reasonable chance they do that. And welcome, I see what you did there, the first time chatter.
yeah, Nejire is a lovely locals card. It's a lovely PSC card, but you can just get bodied so quickly with Nejire.
Possibly, yeah. Like I said, I'm not a
No,
huge fan, but like again, I wouldn't be surprised if like I don't know, Tim Keefe showed up with like a busted Nejire deck and smashed everyone to bits with it, right?
yeah, but yeah, Asui one's on my list because she can do some dumb stuff at the minute, and
Oh
she's
yeah, that's we can always do dumb stuff, right?
and
But
of
sometimes it just melts.
yeah, and you got repeated $100 smash, which is
I'm not a fan of it in
it,
Asuri. I don't think you need it.
you don't need it, but being able to like ready up foundations is always fun.
There's no other good punches, and
Uh,
it's like well, at least there's no other good sort of punch range, right? Because you
no,
really you have to play ranged kicks. Like there obviously, I'm
uh,
pretty sure there's no punch kicks because that wouldn't make any sense.
on no, yeah, on life. Uh,
Yeah, so it's like the card itself, but I don't think you're realistically readying more than one, other than from other copies or
no, yeah.
100% smash. But you want to kick them out, right?
Which I think,
So it's effectively like a four
yeah.
differential,
I
right?
mean, once the next set comes out, it might go up a little bit because you've got the new Deku who cares about ranged as well, who's also got air. But yeah, but no, congratulations, Douglas. This is a really cool. This is
Yeah.
a cool rapper list. It's very streamlined, and there's definitely some choice. There's definitely some choices in here that Rich doesn't agree with. But
It's not necessarily I don't agree with them. Like I don't haven't really played
yeah,
Rapper. It's just like trying
it's
to, I guess, understand them. And it makes
it's
sense to, I guess, pre-board stuff to an
it,
extent. So you've got more of a chance of winning that game one.
it's a trial and error. And yeah, being pre-boarding and taking out and being able to unboard to go into more linear battle plan makes a lot of sense. So here we have Nicholas Rig himself with Deku 2.
Yep, I love Decker too, and I honestly I wish I had stayed playing him a lot more. Like I played him a lot earlier in the season, and then went off it, and I wish I'd played it more. Because I'm a big fan. I think he is still very very good, even
Uh,
without going sort of one check stuff. And obviously he's got the 4 double front beatdown, which is great.
yeah.
Just being that sort of free hand trap, and you just need to not check the ones.
Yeah, you just need to make sure you
Um,
don't check it early, which is fine. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, like 4 rewind throttle, like rewind throttle's like busted in Deku one, Deku
Yeah.
two. Well, I mean not busted, but like it's just like a 6 high 6 that you can point and click something if you want. Obviously Rejuve, Smash, Violent Assault, you need all those cards. Texas Smash was one of those cards I kind of went off on in Deku two. It just felt a bit like didn't need it.
It still
Um,
kills, and it's only a 2 of, but people will be expecting it.
Yeah, and so like the 2 of makes sense. Like I'd cut it to a 1. Obviously, I guess the big thing double front beatdowns taking like this is probably virtually the same sort of list I was playing. The main one is Heroic Strike, right? Like that's probably the one that's missing. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I think one of Texas Smash because sometimes Texas Smash does things that other cards can't do. But I think it's sort of doubling down on what Deku 2 already does. Like I've definitely played it, and there was definitely the odd game where it's any if it was any other card other than Texas Smash, I don't win. Um, but yeah,
In what
um,
situations were you changing into Midoriya 4 here, Nick?
Um, yeah, setup strike is something I didn't try.
Hmm.
Um,
More speed, help you get through.
yeah, again that makes sense. Like damage is never a problem for Deku. Um,
None.
obviously, you never boarded into Midoriya 4,
that's
okay?
what I was thinking. It was because I can't really think going
I
from
think
deck.
they play differently, right? And I
Yeah,
think, oh, okay, that's fair. Um, yeah, obviously I'm assuming double front beatdown, no regrets at all, and I'm happy with that in the list. Obviously, it's quite good having the person who made the deck in the chat.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think uh, like obviously the foundations are a little skewed, right? Because we're playing the one check. Like we haven't
Yeah.
gone all in, but obviously the one thing missing for me in this list is nice try. Um,
True.
yeah, I'm just curious why like I would have expected nice try rather than specialist, just because nice try works so well with Deku's response, where you respond, commit your nice try, build a thing, ready the nice try. Um, so I don't know how you felt about that, but yeah. But again, you're playing one checks. You've only got um,
Passing the
so many
torch and
slots for
especially
twos, right? Like I don't know how many twos you're running, but I think it was just a
uh
handful.
7,
Yeah,
7.
yeah. I know it's obviously stronger in theory. Speed hate as a specialist, and yeah, the top peaking is nice. I just wonder whether Nice Tray would just do more for you overall and be sort of more consistent. I don't know.
Per
Like
my,
I like both those cards. Like when I was in Good Giro, I was running a combination of the both. Um,
my personal hot take would have been rather than Texas Smashes inside or even point mid, 5% full cowling just to commit characters getting Nomu getting Mirio getting overhaul off the board if they don't block it. It's what a 5 high 9 that basically says if you don't block this your character goes away.
yeah, I mean it's the good symbol, right? There's lots of
Yeah.
reasonable sideboard options you can play. Okay,
If it wasn't a low block, nice try being a
no,
low
that's
block
fair.
as well.
But
Yeah.
again, I think they're similar enough that I think it comes down to a lot down to personal choice.
Yeah.
Is
And
my
it
thought.
clearly works. I mean, this is the first deck. Is this the first Deku 2 to top this?
No, I didn't get my bonus, so I'd already
Ah.
got the bonus. Like, because I think it might have even been Nick actually that played it in the first webcam RLE.
Ah.
But yeah, so we're playing like high value targets, can't be fixed. So yeah, and like stuff like Recovery Girls Kiss, right, was something I was never playing because I wasn't playing the one check. So, um,
But I
but
mean,
yeah,
yes, I think
Practical Studies very very good
yeah,
here.
nice deadlock.
Yeah,
I think the one
um,
of Eri is good to be a consistent thing throughout all the nationals.
yeah.
You're going to see it popping up everywhere.
Yeah, again, I think one of areas are very, very good.
Ah, fair enough,
We're
Nick.
just not allowed to. Again, you're playing the one check. You're not allowed to play many twos.
No.
It's just the law. Um, and obviously we're playing Deku 2, so we're playing lots of threes and fours off apart from our two diffs because we're not allowed to. So yeah, really, really cool. Really glad Deku 2 tops,
Yeah,
especially for my draft.
especially with the
Um,
double front beatdown.
yeah, and yeah, you've got to love one checks topping. Um, um, there's a reason they one checks, right? And I'd imagine that hand trap reset came in clutch a lot. I would guess.
So next we got
Uh,
Dakota Simmons on the only overhaul to top this event.
mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, it's a to put it as we usually say, it's a nice standard overhaul deck we've seen since the start of September with the maximum overhauls. Uh,
Yeah. I still think you just don't play more than two of them, but I may be just underestimating that card.
it's very strong if you can get it to pop off. I think the main issue is people see it and whatever they were planning goes out the window, and they go, okay, this is my plan now. And that's
Yeah.
where people start to mess up. They don't incorporate Maximum Overhaul into their plan. They make their plan around Maximum Overhaul. And it's very obvious when you start telegraphing when you're going to play Maximum Overhaul.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's really hard to deal with if you haven't got decent speed hate.
Yeah. Again, like it's a cool, like, it gets to play the cards that are good, right? So learning the standards, obviously, I think it's very, very good at the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, the one of the more interesting one is the 4 taking the gloves off. That might have just been a low blocks thing. It is pretty good, like just flip your committed thing, because lots of people playing a lot of high impact foundations, so just getting rid of those.
I like using it
Um,
on a nice try, just to really annoy
mm,
people.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's just all the doing the reconstruction thing and like the hardened package, and then I guess Nomu sort of against those kind of silly combo
Yeah.
matchups that you can't necessarily deal with game one. Like Star Strike Giro, things like that.
And you got your anti-throw and anti-Mirio sort of like sideboard with the Faith Shield, Red
Yeah.
Guard, and Instant Shining Flash to get momentum. I'm glad to see Muscle Mauler finding more and more homes in decks. My only downside to this deck is Prehensile Tail and Puller Punches being the only real deadlock.
They're enough. You're playing 7 cards there, right? And like that's enough of a deadlock threat. Like, again, you just need to see one of those on the table, and your opponent isn't allowed to go into deadlock, right? You're not allowed to go into deadlock against Prehensile Tail. You're not allowed to go into deadlock against Porno Punches. So I think that's enough.
I mean, I guess I'm not. If I see a Puller Punches, I'm not that bothered by it. If I only see one of these down, I am more than happy going into deadlock because I've probably got a way to deal with at least one of them. Once multiple come down, then yeah, that's gonna be an issue.
Okay.
But I think Prehensile Tail is more for getting your momentum back.
Yeah, but also, like, again, you're not
Yeah,
allowed to go into deadlock against Prehensile Tail.
go the back throw.
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, again, there's not. I wouldn't say there's necessarily kind of much innovation there on that one. So,
no.
like, it's cool, but it's Earth Overhaul, something everyone should be prepared to face at Nationals.
And then we got TC Devantian?
Devartanian, I think is his
Devatanian,
name.
okay. I do apologize
Yeah,
for butchering the name.
I don't think there's a T on the end, but I might be wrong. It's
Uh,
Nomu.
yeah.
TC came second with Nomu, right? On
Jacob,
the
yeah.
webcam.
But Jacob wasn't running Tetra Terror, I believe.
No, this was TC played Nomu
Oh, okay.
on for webcam and lost to Jose, I believe.
Oh.
Um, yeah, so it's interesting seeing just like obviously he knows what he's doing, but just 2 relentless barrages feels weird, and Tetra Terra a 3 of again feels weird.
Yeah, especially seeing as Barrage and Hardened Jab are the only things you can pick up.
However, again, it might have been a kind of getcha type of thing, right? Everyone playing against Nomu, against Earth Nomu, knows they're virtually mono mids, and then occasionally they're going to send a chop at you as a low.
Yeah.
There's no highs. Tetra Terra, I'm sure, is a high, isn't it?
Yes. So
people aren't going to be expecting a Tetra Terra, and Nomu's going to go, here's a Tetra Terra, it's a high,
10 damage.
double the damage. I'm going to pay 3 because I've got infinite health, and I'm going to pick something up, and you can't full block this because you didn't keep your high blocks against me.
And even
I'd
if they
imagine, as a guess, that's what he just did all day long.
and if they did, and they were allowed him to get momentum, he
He just did it twice.
he echoes it again and goes, "Yep, have you got 2 high blocks?"
Yeah, and I'd imagine a lot of that kind of, and yeah, we're not playing calorie counter main either.
No.
And I'd imagine what would happen is he would play game 1 with Tetra Terra. Someone would see the Tetra Terra and they'd be like, "Shit, I can't let this hit me." And then game 2, he would just side those out for the calorie counter and relentless barrage. And yeah, so top 2 CM Harris deck list, and
That's
obviously he went out round 1, and that might be part of that where he didn't have that surprise factor.
Yeah.
And one of the big strengths of this Nomu list is going barrage, 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 you're dead, right? And obviously he doesn't get to do that game one.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that will come up in nationals.
And
is
also, you're forced to block me because everything's for 10 damage, calorie count to you. He doesn't have those options in game one, right?
No.
So
the 3 talented bakers seem really interesting.
Again, we're drawing cards off Chivalrous, right? We're
drawing off Muscle Waller, drawing off Back Alley.
Yeah. Talented Baker isn't a card I'm a huge fan of in Nomu, but like Jacob played it, and if Jacob plays it in Nomu, I'm assuming it's correct.
That's fair. No, it's a really cool list. It's similar to what they played in the webcam. It's similar to what Jacob played. Just a couple of innovations. And Nomu is one of those ones that keep providing top cuts to keep getting there because damage is so good. And as we've seen with some of the new starter decks, stuff that's coming next set, Nomu is eating pretty in the next set as well. So I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
No, he's still good, right?
I think at nationals we might see someone bring back Lomu, just because people have got used to this all mid, and they're going to bring an all high and all low Nomu, and just try and get.
As Omar saying, like someone's conceivably someone can go the full button only route, right? Playing both Han Barrage and like that was the one thing I've just not liked about his Nomu list is like, why are you playing Rapid Punches? Like Rapid Punches seem so good. Like it's a 5 low for 8 that draws you a card if it hits. Like what more do you, on a 4 diff? What more do you want?
Yeah.
And like you can still play Relentless Barrage. Like you just play like 4 barrages, 4 hardened barrages, 4 rapid punches. Like I don't know. I feel like that's what I'd start on the list is those 12 attacks, and then probably maybe some jabs and maybe some haymakers and chops and go from there.
So you're gonna start de-sleeving this deck, and you're gonna build a Nomu deck now, right?
No. Like again, I'd need practice with it.
You've got 2 days. You fine.
That isn't gonna happen.
So let's go into the top 4 now. We've got Amajiki Chaos. So the first thing that strikes me from this list is the Death Arm Wallops are now in the sideboard because people are becoming a bit more aware of the threat that they pose. But we're now.
I think this is quite a big list, isn't it? How many cards are we talking about here? Just
it's quite spread out, but it looks a lot bigger than it is. But it's fairly big. I like seeing the zero gravity lifts because Amajiki just abuses them so well.
Like the only interesting one for me is Freezer Burn. I'm not really a huge fan of Freezer Burn, I'll be honest. It's not my most favourite attack. It's fine.
I mean, I like it here with adaptable, with...
Yeah, you get to load stats in it and they don't get to reset. But like we're talking... It's just extra. You want all your attacks to go in face up, and a Freezer Burn doesn't, and it doesn't do much, right? It's just a...
Late game, it can kill.
It can, but like...
In game...
Again, it's just... It feels... Freezer Burn feels like a string deck card. Amajiki... really a string deck.
Yeah, I'm sure. Amajiki.
It might be there just because he wanted low blocks. Yeah, as Omar says, Amajiki isn't a string. It's not an aggro deck. It's not trying to do crazy things. He just wants to live to like turn 4. Yeah, and
I love Freezer Burn.
I think it was Chiefs, right, that did a let's look at broken cards video on Freezer Burn, and I'm like, I barely want to play this card ever. It's not broken.
I absolutely love it in Dabby 1. I've not really found home for it in anything else since. Apart from, I did play it in Mina 1 as like a smaller amount. I think it's fine here. I think if you do... If Amajiki's struggling to get through a wall, being able to string is great. And late game, be able to chuck 10 damage on this, going, it's a 4/12 low that you cannot interact with, so you've got to have that low block.
Yeah, but then they just low block it, right? It's fine because everyone's holding low blocks against you because you're playing indiscriminate.
Yeah, so
know,
if they block the freezer burn, they've got to take the indiscriminate.
eh, I don't like it. Again, it might just be a low block thing, right? It might just be a case of here. That's what he just needed to get. That was the best option to get low blocks into the deck.
I'd be more on board with it if there was double jab pummel or things that were comboing off charge and things that you were.
Again, it's just a different style, right? Double jab is for stringing. Amajiki don't want to string. He wants to poke and build, and then I'll kill you. Like, he's not trying to string.
But no,
Surge. I definitely would want one off Surge. And Training with Gunhead. Like, how? I suppose Training with Gunhead, you are hacking your checks sometimes with Vast Hybrid.
I think it's more throw hate because.
But yeah, it might just be throw hate. Having some game one throw hate because you're melty.
You can always side out the Trainer with Gunheads for Sun Eater, for Decoy, for Broken Psyche.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Chap did very well.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But I guess, like, if Omar saying Amajiki's a throw hate, yes. Sometimes unless you're going against, like, a, Throver Hall or something that's all throws.
Sometimes they have multiple throws, yeah.
And sometimes they're doing it turn one and you haven't got any momentum and you're like, I need something. But obviously William did very, very well.
Yeah.
It's not the list I would play, right? I would make a load of changes to this and rip out some stuff and add some stuff back in. Adaptable Rise cards, it's really cool. Obviously it's the one that flips for is commit for
up to 3 speed, yeah.
And it's got a really nice deadlock. And I wanted to play it and I just found I cut it. Like, whenever I was building like Amajiki lists with a boy because he wanted to play Amajiki, I'm just like, this is cool, but we got to find space for other things I'd rather play.
The two things in this deck that stand out to me are the one of Chivalrous, which feels really weird because you at least want two. One of seems really weird.
And I definitely want a third release.
Third release and no cheerful uppercuts.
Yeah, again, that's like probably cheerful uppercut is a mid block, right?
Mid block that essentially messes about with combo.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of seeing the block zone, like, because that's that kind of free. Like, usually you might play like one in the main and then some in the side. I think a lot of like Amajiki lists are like that.
Yeah.
There were changes I'd make. Obviously, he did very well.
No, definitely did.
Again, not a knock, just a personal preference.
No, right? It's great to see. It's a nice little hybrid list. It's got some really cool stuff on it. He probably put Freezer Burn in over Cheerful Uppercut. That's what I'm thinking. But Cheerful Uppercut to me, a 5 low 4 that is, if you want it to, is always guaranteed to get extra 4 damage because you're always going to have momentum. Amajiki seems really good.
And it's just defensive pieces, right? Amajiki needs those defensive pieces. That's why you play Ice Storm. You don't play Ice Storm because it's necessarily the kill you one. It's because it breaker 2s them and lets you survive and go to turn 3, turn 4. And then sometimes when you get to like turn 4, turn 5 and you've got the momentum, it's like, okay, here's my indiscriminate, deal with it. Here's my Vast Hybrid with a whole bunch of damage on it, deal with it. Oh, here's my Ice Storm and I'm going to Powerful, deal with it. Like, it's those 3-pronged attack of, I'm going to play about 3 big attacks, you need to deal with all 3.
And you're throwing high speed lows for lots of damage when you haven't even used Amajiki yet. And then that's just setting up for indiscriminate to come in and just completely finish the job.
Well, yeah, you just indiscriminate, deal with it. Okay, you did. I'll grab lift, put my damage on it, deal with it. Oh, you did.
It's a really cool list.
Here's my Ice Storm and I'll power lift. I'll powerful it.
It's a really cool list, and clearly it did a lot better than we're giving it credit for here. But it's really, really cool. I do enjoy this list. It's just a personal preference over it, but I do respect seeing Freezer Burn being played. I personally think that's a really cool little deck to put in there because nobody's going to be expecting it.
Okay, and for next week, you can feel free to change my name from Monomer Hater to Freezer Burn Hater.
I can do. Then we've got the second Midnight to Top this season. It's very different than Garrett Brett's list.
Is it though? It's a more punchy list in terms of the attacks.
Yeah.
The sort of the foundation lineup and like the actions are very similar. I think this feels like Garrett's list that's been tweaked. To me,
Yeah, we're seeing.
because Garrett was Garrett playing repeat 100?
No,
Like he,
Garrett wasn't paying repeat 100%.
yeah,
Apparently, it doesn't have. It apparently forces you to play bad cards, and you just don't get the same value when you attack first. Was playing Somnambulism, was playing Hard Uppercut, was playing Rejuvenating. I don't think they were playing Plummeting.
yeah.
I don't know about Grasping Tape Toss. Expert Flurry they were. Borrowed Goods was a 2 of, and I don't know about Hardened Jab.
Hmm.
In the sideboard, the 2 Erase and the Eraser Head is from Garrett.
Yeah, this looks like Garrett's list that's added to 100% smashes and
Yeah.
tweaked a bit, right?
Well, the Engine Troubles are now mainboarded rather than sided. The Blood Curdle is
Garrett
mainboarded
had
side.
I'm sure Garrett had a main.
No, he had. I think he had Blood Curdle main, but Engine Trouble was in the
No,
side.
Garrett played a shit ton of actions main. I'm sure he did. I might be making it up. I'm sure Garrett had a shit ton of actions main. Let me just check. Do hold caller.
Downloads.
Where are we? Was it Rochester? It was Rochester,
Yeah,
wasn't
Rochester. Yeah.
it? Garrett Brett. Yeah, he had 1 blood code, 1 barrier shield, 3 engine trouble, 1 teamwork, and 1 plus ultra.
Well,
So he was playing
on side. Okay.
no, just in the main. Yeah,
Okay.
he had all of that in the main. He had 1 nullify in the side and the 2 erases. Yeah, this is Garrett's list and added 100% smashes instead, pretty much.
It did really well.
And I obviously, like, I think we both looked at Garrett's list and was like, okay, this is a Garrett list. Like, I don't know what's going on here. It's doing stuff. Obviously, Brandon managed to decipher that plan and got to top 4. So yeah, so good work on that. But like,
got very.
I don't know, this felt like a very Garrett list. This is the stuff I like, and it wasn't one that I personally would have net decked.
No.
But again, I don't mean that in a derogatory turn towards Brandon, because I'm almost certainly net decking something for Nats. But sometimes you can take a list and it's like, okay, this is obvious and stuff like that, and like this is not a list that was necessarily obvious to me in terms of okay, how will the moving parts work, and definitely would have been confident enough changing it. But certainly Void Midnight I think is very good. And certainly sort of something when I was panicking about not playing bloody Jiro was looking at it and I'm like, this is cool. I don't have enough time to practice with this and play test this and get it to a point where I'm happy taking it to that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with over Chaos Midnight. You can just pick up the deck and kind of know what it wants to do. Void Midnight, you need to get the reps in, and it's something that
And like, obviously, I've got an amount of those reps with All for One, right? Because basically, we were having a discussion the other day. Like I think Void is very underrated at the moment. Because personally, I think 3 of the best cards in the format are Repeat 100% Smash, Barrier Shield, and Learning the Standards. They all have Void. And Midnight can play all those 3 cards with a straight face. So could Deku 4, right? So I was looking at both those options.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the list. Petty Squabble, I don't think that was part of Garrett's list.
Garrett had it. I'm sure Garrett had it in his. He had Petty Squabble.
The one
of one-offs, right? So I think it's sort
of... a lot of one-offs,
I think this is taking Garrett's list and then tightening up a bit and taking out some stuff he didn't like and putting stuff he did like.
Yeah, right? Getting Guitars out.
Like, for me, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't want Engine Trouble. Like, I'm not a stun deck.
It's the low breaker. It's more about the low breaker than the stun.
Yeah. But that's a card that personally I would be like, I don't want to play a card just for one breaker block. Yeah.
I'd personally, with what's going on here, Citywide Crisis, I've got a new appreciation for. I
Zero
put
prices, I think, is very, very good. And I think
yeah.
you should probably play it as a one-off in most decks on Symbol, at least.
Uh,
Again, Blood Curdle, probably not a card I'd play main. But again, these are personal choices, right? I mean, looking at those 6 actions, I'd rather just play 4 Barrier Shields, right? And then get rid of the rest. As a personal thing,
yeah,
like looking
personally,
at
yeah,
the
yeah,
deck.
makes sense.
So,
I'd have the can't escape me in the main board.
like,
Looking at your board here, your your deadlock is pretty much non-existent. You got one of Fruits of Our Labor. You've got a red rice to course, which affects exactly one card, 2 cards in your deck, so essentially 5 cards.
he's got 4 Plummeting Punches.
Yeah, but you have to have the plummeting punch in hand. I'm all about like immediate threats on board.
Sure. Does Somnambulism have a deadlock? I don't think it does.
No. Uh,
But
spooky doesn't.
yeah, Void doesn't do deadlock great. There's the one that I probably would have been playing and
Oh,
had in my
it's
list.
got Gasping Tape Toss, which has got a great deadlock. Yeah.
Yeah, the 1/5/2 high block Deku Foundation from the new set.
1/5.
Yeah, the 1/5/2 high block gives something +1 speed if they're not
Oh,
taking damage.
practical studies. Yeah, practical
Yeah,
studies.
yeah. So I don't think that's in this list, right?
No, I
Again,
think.
that's a nice option for Void to add deadlock pressure to their decks.
See, I'd main board can't escape me for rejuvenating smash, for maximum overhaul, for double jab pummel, for that ability just to go. Yeah, that ability doesn't go off, and you don't get to do anything.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing with the Void symbol, right? There's so many of those situation one pieces, and that's probably a lot of reason why Garrett's list is like that, and why this list is still like that is that there's all those like villains defeated, can't escape me, like stopping for breakfast, fruits of our labor, things like that that are saying these are situational cards, but are very powerful in the situational. So you only really want them to run as a 1 or 2.
I I see what you did. I get that, and when I took it out and did some practice with it, like leading up to RLE, I missed practical studies.
Okay. I see what you did there. Are you Brandon? Because he's talking about didn't like practical study around that stuff with grasping and planting because there's good enough deadlock pieces. Yeah. Oh, welcome, Brandon. Sorry if you think I've been sort of bitching about your deck.
But no.
Yeah. I mean, again, I've not tested that void list, but that was sort of one of the things I pulled out as like things to pressure deadlock. But I think I was running 3 or 4 plummeting punches because again, it's a very, very good deadlock.
It's a really good listen. You can tell where the priorities are with the where the 4 are. I really like it.
Again, I was running 3 learning the standards main because I'm just like, what shell can I build around 100% smash, learning the standards, barrier shield at least 3 of each of those, and then sort of build from there. That was kind of my thinking of building a void deck, right? And again, I'm not a huge fan of Petty Squabble. Again, if it as a 7-hander, that bottom ability I can understand. The other ability, but as a 6-hander that basically gets to do what Petty Squabble does on face anyway, and like I want something more.
Well, I mean,
but again, like if Garrett Brett's playing it, I'm probably wrong.
Petty Squabble turns you into an 8-hander.
What?
If I play 4 cards, I have 2 in hand, and then I block 2 things, I Petty Squabble, they discard 2 cards, I have nothing to discard, then we both draw 2 cards. It turns you into an 8-hander.
Sure. On defense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but quite often you've committed yourself on offense.
No, it gives you that defensive option. It gives you the ability to commit down.
Yeah, again, I'm not saying the card's blank. I'm not saying the card's necessarily bad. It's just like as a personal thing, like I probably won't play it.
See, I'd personally
play more learn the standards. I'd rather play more barrier shields like that. But again, personal preference.
I mean, it's a low block. I'd probably be if you wanted to, if it'd be more heroic lineage because I don't see ways to deal with low keyword cards here. So if you come across things like Maximum Overhaul, Tongue Whip, the cards that can get speed that have...
You barrier shield those, right?
You might not always have Barrier Shield, there's only two.
Yeah, or you've got a citywide crisis if they get high. You've got options. You've got Night Watch. You've got Unexpected Hero. You've got tape to then sort of mid block it virtually always. And also you've got tape for the speed hate. So like, there's definitely options here. Like Void Defense is very good.
Yeah, it really is.
Prone to Dry Eyes was one I probably wouldn't necessarily play.
It's Stun Hate. It's the best Stun Hate in this deck. Apart from keeping out safe is good, but you're trading.
And again, that's why we're playing getting a tour, I guess, right, as well for Stun Hate more than anything, and sometimes gives you a bit of speed. Again, a card that I don't necessarily rate particularly highly, but I'm assuming does do good. Well, but again, it's just not a card I play with, and therefore, when I was looking at this, it's not a card I was including.
Getting a tour, I'm not that big of a fan of, but Prone to Dry Eyes is great when you've got, if you run Rewind Throttle, if you run Rewind Smash, if you run with the Rejuvenating Smash, you can guarantee yourself a momentum.
Yeah.
Which then gives you in good position.
Again, it was just I was just looking at it from a different angle.
I get you coming in. Going back to the petty squabble sort of thing, there's been many times I've looked at my hand, I've got 4 attacks, 2 cards, 2 foundations, I've got attack, discard, attack, discard, attack, attack, petty squabble, discard, and then my last attack's got 3 speed, 3 damage. That's kind of when you want to get really aggressive. But petty squabble opens up some nice lines. All Worked Up isn't in here, which is a bit of a shame because you can also get some nice lines going with All Worked Up.
Yeah, and like I probably would have ended up on Deku 4 from a Void perspective. That'd be one I would have like tried to test rather than necessarily Midnight.
But yeah, it makes you a bit more defensible, and you get the additional damage, and you can do some really good stuff. But if you're going to go down, I like the Eraserhead. And what kind of matchups, Brandon, were you changing into Eraserhead? Because I've put Eraserhead in my side, and I really for when I played the RLE, and I think I changed once because the majority of the time I felt more comfortable in Midnight. Mirio, okay. I considered doing it against Momo, but the way Mike was running his deck with the ridiculous amount of damage, it didn't feel the best. Considered doing it against Overhaul Evil, but most of the time I was fine. Mirio makes a lot of sense. You can keep things mid, keep the erasers going.
Yeah, you just want to be able to have that with mid block, right?
But no, this is... I like these lists, and I think people we're going to see more and more Midnights coming up. I'm glad to see it coming through. I'm glad to see Repeated Smash in this one, which Garrett wasn't running. Because I know Levi is a big fan of Repeated Smash in Midnight, and it's just so good with it. It's great to see Midnight back making a presence after being missing since the HLC.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the only thing about Repeated Smash, right? I don't know how many you've got in terms of foundations you can commit to get value, like passing the torch.
Your Midnight. All your foundations commit.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So you play.
Yeah, I'm just thinking from that value perspective of like passing the torch. Like, is there anything?
So you play Repeated. You easily excited it to a 5 speed, 5 keyword. You commit Gotcha for +6 speed. It's an 11 for 6.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not a good thing. I'm just like, you don't have those kind of. You've got what your face does, right? But you don't have any like in Void. You don't necessarily have any of those kind of commit to do a thing kind of foundations.
Deadlock Practical Studies is a great one. Gotcha, as Brendan said, Heroic Lineage is beautiful.
Yeah, again, Heroic Lineage would be a good option.
So you commit Gotcha, get the speed, you respond, commit Heroic Lineage, get the 2 damage, ready up heroic lineage with repeated smash and go, oh look, I've got now even faster catch.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to do. And it's also
Yeah, I think Void's underrated.
yeah.
I think Void's very good.
If you commit your character, you can commit exhausted exclamation, draw a card, ready it up with repeat smash.
Yeah. Yeah, you got exhausted explanation as well, I suppose. Yeah, so there are some things, some schmooze you can do with it.
Yeah, and you've got cards like Red Rise to Course that don't care if they're ready or not. You've got Citywide Crisis that doesn't care if it's ready or not. So you can commit other things to get the speed and then commit your effects that you want to ready up.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, it's decent one to go. I'm surprised with the lack of Manly Passionates because, like I said, Void has got a very good defensive package, and one of the things I love to do when I was playing at the RLE was to play Manly Passionate and then hold learning standards, hold decoy duplicate, and then just go block, build it down, and then I watch my opponent go, oh, now I got to deal with that. And they've now got to change, kind of like, when they've already started in on their battle plan, have this whole new threat they've got to deal with. But I think the one of stopping for breakfast is really good. But yeah,
I absolutely agree, Brandon. Like again, I'm a big fan of Void. Like I think it's very good. I think it's underrated. I think, and yeah, there's just, and like, as part again, one of the reasons you end up seeing like lots of these one or two rolls because there's so many good options.
Spirited Referee. Spirited Referee is one that I was I was struggling to cut it because you commit it on defense, it gets minus damage. You commit it on offense, you get the plus damage, and it's a great little thing that because Void needs damage.
Yeah, again, I think when I was looking at it, it was something I cut just because I'm like, it's cute. I don't, there are better things I can
It's
do.
a breaker block. It's
fine.
yeah, but no. After looking at Garrett's list, so if I do play Midnight of the Weekend, I might need to expand my list past 60 cards and just join them in the realms of the 69, 70 cards.
Again, if you're playing repeated 100% Midnight, for me, I'd be starting at 3 repeated, 3 barrier shield, 3 word in the standards, and then go from there. But that's just me.
I think I'm on the list that I've been playing. I've not updated my list in like 2 weeks because I've been looking at other lists. I think I'm on 2 learning standards, 2 decoys. Because I'm still a big decoy fan. I know it's a 4 check, but I'm a big decoy fan. It deals with a lot. It just causes people issues. I think I'm on 3 petty squabbles because I want to see that card.
Well,
And I think I'm on 2 spookies now because I want to see that card as well.
again, spooky. I think spooky goes very well with barrier shield, right? You barrier shield, it's got 0 speed. Spooky it. It's now doing 0 damage.
Yeah.
You're going to throw something else that I'm now going to break a 2, or you stop in there and you don't necessarily then have to use that other card to block with. Just even the threat.
Literally how I explained it to someone. Okay, so if I zero out your speed and then use spooky, you've then got that going. Okay, is my next one going to hit? And if it does get blocked, my next one's got that. The next card the player's got breaker 2. In some situations, like with overhaul stuff, you go into negative speed just to make sure the damage isn't going through.
Yeah.
But no, I love this list. I love Garrett Brett's list. I know Garrett Brett's now my enemy for me saying that. I thought I played a bit more defensive, but I honestly was trying to understand his list. And after seeing the way that Brandon's played it and stuff like that, I understand this is more like a perfectly balanced sword. The hilt and the blade are perfectly in sync. So when this deck works, it is a perfect weapon for you to achieve your goals. So I do apologize to Gabriel for what I said when I was saying I play a bit more defensively. I've actually started trying to up my defensive play to try and match this kind of level of deck. But let's move on to the last 2 decks. We got second place with your favourite boy, if I can get OBS to work for me.
Yeah, the burb's good, man. Yeah, sure. Sometimes you have those inconsistent turns or games where it's like your top 5 2 turns in a row and there's no bloody summon Dark Shadow, but like that's the bird, right? and then sometimes you build 3 foundations and then you do 30 damage on turn 2. Yeah, it does what it does, man. Again, I think this is pretty much JJ's list with, I think, an extra frozen and an extra frigid in the list, because you're playing what, 5, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, because JJ's list was a perfect 1854. That's 19 attacks, and then I think we've added another frozen. See, personally, for this list, I want to get rid of the aggressive tempers. I just think they're greedy and unnecessary, and they're just too different, do nothing. And sometimes you'll flip them in at the right time, and it's just too random. And I'd much rather play latent skill instead.
I like the Lust for Battles because of how they work with Tokiyama's
Lust for
brother.
Battles are good because they're a one diff, so a lot easier to get in, and they're impactful both on offense and defense. So, they play their attack, you top 5, and you flip a Lust for Battle. It's like, well, it's a little breaker one on their turn as well, right? So, Lust for Battle is very, very good. I don't just the random 2 damage on aggressive temper. I just don't think we need to play a 2/5/3 mid block for that.
No.
That does nothing on the board. And sure, sometimes you might blow it up with a frozen and get the thing, but nah, I'm not in it. I'd much rather play more latent skills for consistency.
The attack lineup
I'd
isn't.
much rather play another Revel, rather than an aggressive temper. But I think latent skill is what I want here over that.
The attack lineup's pretty decent.
Yeah, the attack lineup again. It's JJ's lineup with 1 extra frigid. I think if I were playing it, I would play the extra Ice Storm on the frigid. I think Ice Storm keeps you alive more than anything. Obviously, I want to cut the freezer burns, but I don't think you can afford to. I think freezer burn fills a role here.
Yeah,
Again, there's that late string thing, and it's a poke that just fills out your discard pile to get your shit going.
Get your Sugar Rush power up going.
Yeah, I mean, if you're attacking turn 2, generally speaking, Sugar Rush is turned on this deck, right?
Yeah, because you can go.
It's just dead easy.
You can go frigid.
So you build 3 turn. Let's say you build 4 turn 1. That's 4 in your discard pile.
Yeah.
Review 1. That's 5. You top 5. Let's say you pick one up. You're at 9, and you've then checked 1 because of your attack. You're at 10, right? Like turning on Sugar Rush is the easiest thing to do in this deck. It's a dog. Yeah, I mean, it's bird. It's gonna kill you, or it's gonna draw a shitty hand and then just fizzle out sometimes.
I think the sideboard is probably the most interesting part of the decisions in here. You got the barrier shield for more defense. You got seizing for more offensive power. And the Exploding Prides are so good. I think
for Amajiki, I believe. My understanding is they're solely for Amajiki.
Oh yeah.
Forcing Surrender, I think, comes in against things like learning standards, stuff like that.
Yes.
That's stuffing you. Concentrate, very good. Against maybe a Mirio that goes, hey, I'll play my 2 attacks and then I'll play my thingamajig.
Concentrate's very solid. It also helps you.
Crap.
Also, you if your opponent's playing Runaway, it just completely messes them up because they pay life and then they take the damage anyway.
Yeah. Why can't I think of that card?
Which one?
Why can't I think? Mirio, blue card, Momentum.
Capture Evildoers.
Yes. My mind just went blank because I'm old. Yeah, so Mirio, spending their Momentum on their Capture Evildoers to take a second turn. It's no, I'll concentrate that.
Yeah.
Carry on with your 3 progressive at 1 less. And sometimes you can steal momentum. Like this deck can use momentum, right, on your Ice Walls and your Ice Storms. Not a lot, but you can use it. And mostly, I think those actions come in for the Sugar Rushes. I think.
I think if I was running this one, I would probably put in the Capture Evildoers just for that rare time when your opponent's got momentum and you go Giant Ice Wall, Capture Evildoers, get momentum, my next range gets to stun 2.
Too low impact. You don't need momentum, right?
yes, it's momentum hate, but honestly, the best momentum hate Tokiyami can have is just to kill him and punch him in the face. Catch he will do is like a blank card in that situation. You don't want a card pool clear because if you're stringing and you're playing like your um your summons, in which case like you don't need to. Like most of your card pool doesn't count towards progressive anyway, in a good kill turn, right? Your Infernos are effectively not count towards progressives. You've played a ruin, so your dark shadows aren't counted towards progressive, so you don't ever want to do that. So like, yeah, like having momentum hate, sure, but that I guess if you really are playing it, it's a momentum deck. That's what the expanding prides are for the Amajikis of the world. I don't think you bring it against Mirio.
But no, it's got the draw power. You got Season Brawl as well, which is a nice little addition. Firestarter seems really cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a low block one diff that has again getting the 10 in your remove pile is a doddle like one sugar rush, and honestly, like this deck can happily cycle twice in a game, you know. So turn that on its face one, and it is deadlock as well. Which
yeah,
you don't really have a lot of other than Ice Storm, so it does give you a bit in there.
but it's nice
Um,
to see the bird back in action.
yeah, I mean he's always been good.
Yeah,
It's just like the fire one went down in popularities because Chaos got very good, and then honestly, it just sort of got kneecapped in a couple of forms, right? Like it losing Crow and Frog and Stronger in Darkness, and then losing One with Nature. It just because it doesn't necessarily have that like latent skill. I think does a lot for this fireball, which is why I'm surprised there's only two. Um, like yeah, I think I'd cut the aggressive tempers.
but yeah,
I'd play at least the third latent skill, probably the fourth, or maybe the fourth fire starter if I felt I needed the other low block. And I think I'd cut the frigid for an ice storm, but like that's just minor things. I just don't think. Again, like I'm sure JJ or Colby will tell me no, aggressive temper is really good. You should never cut it, but like, just feels greedy. And I don't need it. I'd rather have impact stuff. Like damage generally isn't something you struggle with as Tokiyami. Like you've got it coming out the wazoo. Like card draw, card filtering, and survivability are the things you need to kind of shore up. Like killing people never is generally a problem.
but yeah.
Like just not drawing not drawing orange cards, or not being able to defend on the one turn you don't get to attack them. Like that's your problem.
But no, big shout out to Kobe for getting there, and
Yeah,
it's a
and
cool
honestly,
list.
I love Tokiyami. I'm not a huge fan of Eraserhead. I really, really wanted to get a cheer on Tokiyami, but I couldn't because obviously Eraser being the final meant draft points.
So we've
And
got Kevin Broderick taking down his second RLE back to back.
yeah, I mean, obviously the guy's pretty cracked. This is virtually the same list, if not identical
It's Jose's
to
list. It's
Jose's.
100% Jose's list. Yeah.
I think there's a couple of changes. Like I don't think Jose was playing a League of Villains. Um, uh, Sorry, I might ask a question. This is kind of off topic, but how is Giro versus Eraserhead 1? Do you mean from the Giro side? I don't know, is the honest answer. Yeah, I'll get to that in a bit, Apple. I would imagine Giro's fairly decent into Eraserhead because Giro can just put loads of stats on stuff and be very aggressive, and turning off Giro, she at least gets one of her responses right before
Yeah.
you get to. So turning off Giro isn't necessarily a huge thing. And she can doesn't necessarily need to put, like, she plays a cannon blast and okay, I'll respond for speed. Sure, you can erase and get rid of the damage, but it's still going to come in for a whole shit ton, right? And it's going to be enough speed and kill you. I would guess Giro has a reasonable matchup into a race ahead. I don't know. Racehead is not a character I've necessarily played against too much, certainly with Giro, to know. My gut says Giro should have a reasonable matchup. Like, it's probably like a 53-47 in her favour.
They're both top tier characters, so it comes down to the pilots. But you've also got the main thing is getting to that point where the cannon blast, the homing comets, the indiscriminates are coming in for a lot of damage. And with things like League of Villains being able to cancel enhances, with arrays being able to seal.
Like you've got Night Watches, right? So, there's definitely counterplay on both sides. But obviously Eraserhead does have those, 19 hit points. Like, it doesn't need to do much. Yeah. Especially like Air Giro, obviously you're running grav lifts. Throws are generally good against Eraserhead, right? Sometimes, unless he's got a spooky on the board. What Apple says, like, Giro just needs to regress really hard into and just don't give him the chance.
This is a really cool list. That the Binding Cloth Capture does some decent stuff.
And flash attacks are going to be good against Razehead, right? Doesn't really get to interact with them. So, it makes him block, honestly. So, if you can get the momentum to do a Soundwave string, or just, have 2 or 3 in hand, then, Eraserhead's going to struggle with that because he has to do it. Honestly, he doesn't get to nerf the speed with Erase. Yes, he can erase your character, but he's going to run. But obviously, he doesn't get to pick up extra ones because he doesn't get any enhanced ways, right? So, again, I would imagine it's like a 53-47 in Joe's favour. But yeah, so this is Jose's list with a few tweaks. It's obviously very good. As Apple says, I doubt Kevin will play this. So obviously there was a mistake in game 2. If you're watching the stream,
wasn't it game 3?
No, this was game 2, where Colby sent in a lethal attack. Kevin blocked. They then continued playing. So Kevin blocked and tapped out. They continued playing. And everyone watching streams actually, no, he's one short. He can't block that. He's dead. They continued playing maybe a full turn cycle afterwards. And eventually it got to the judges. And obviously because Colby was down a game, so Kevin won game 1. And he got to the judges, and then they made a ruling of, again, I don't know how you rule this, and I'm sure Apple in chat will comment on this one. They made the ruling of actually Kevin was dead, right? It wasn't they made a misplay and they've kind of got too far to go any further. They did the maths wrong. Kevin was just dead at that point, right? And again, I don't, obviously no sort of shade here. I'm pretty sure that was just a mistake on both parts, right? They obviously missed.
I've done it a lot myself. Sometimes you just miscount the foundations. It can happen to anyone.
Yeah, and obviously when you've got things like Azure Infernos in play, right? Altering checks. So essentially what happened is Apple, they're playing, Colby's on his attack string. He plays his last attack. It's lethal at Kevin. I think Kevin then blocks and then taps his character as his last foundation to tap. And in theory, perfect blocks it. But he was one short because of all the Azure Infernos. Because of either they forgot about the +1/+1 from a Summon Dark Shadow, or they forgot about the -1 from an Azure early in the turn. And so Kevin, and because there was progressive difficulty in play and stuff like that, so Kevin was one short on the block check. So he should have been dead, right? So they then continued playing another turn cycle or 2, and eventually got to the judges. They then essentially turned off the stream or went to Levi.
Yeah, and then it went to game 3, I take it?
Yes, yeah, and that was how it was rolled. Apple is they said, look, it's not like you drew an extra card when you shouldn't draw an extra card, or you looked at an extra card, or you blew something up or whatever, it was like you were just dead on board. So yeah, they went to game 3. I'd imagine they probably got a warning, and then I don't know whether it was just like a flustered in the moment after all that kerfuffle, but then game 3 Kevin forgot his erase, which you're allowed to do as a race head. You're allowed to forget your race, and obviously it's game 3 of the finals. Like, the guy is human. I know he doesn't seem like it because he just smashes everyone at this game, but it's a very easy thing to forget when you're in that moment of you've been taken out of that kind of game mindset of, okay, we're gonna have to have a conversation with judges and work all this out, and probably them having to go back and do that maths and work out what I actually did. Totally human thing to do, and just to sit there and shuffle up and then forget your race. And obviously Kevin being Kevin, he still fucking won the game, right? Because he's that good. So yeah, congrats and thank you very much for winning me the draft.
Yeah, so
yeah, and also absolutely, they would have been exhausted as well after a long day of playing.
Yeah, so looking at the list, like I said, very similar to Jose's. League of Villains is very good in here. But
League of Villains is just very good. Again, cancels are just very good.
Grenade Braziers and Fierce Whirlwind were the runaway cards of this deck. They were the absolute kill condition, and they were just basically Brodberg would get you in a position where you weren't doing anything about it, and then just kill you with it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it just does what it does. We saw Jose kill everyone with it, and we've seen Kevin kill everyone with it, and it's going to be a deck to watch out for at the Nationals, right?
Oh, definitely. I can imagine a few experienced players and maybe some not so experienced players both picking this up and going, I'm going to give it a go because it's now won 2 events. Maybe with a couple of changes, but it's now won 2 events in 2 very experienced hands. And
yeah, but I think there's a very real argument for saying Kevin and Jose are the 2 best players playing right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, people like Garrett are the most decorated in history. Obviously, Tim has won shitloads as well.
We could sit here and name old heads for days.
In terms of the My Hero format, I think there's a very, very good argument that Kevin and Jose are the 2 best players. So, and that's it. Like, this is not a list I would say, okay, well, Kevin won with that shit. I'm net decking that for Nationals. Absolutely no way. I've never played a race head, not Scooby. Again, Eraserhead's always been that thing of like, you make one mistake and you're dead. And I thought my heart was broken because I was watching the semis against Was it against Midnight?
No.
Who was Kevin? Amajiki, where he tapped out for a Twisting Azure to get him like 1 damage. And I'm like, have you just killed yourself here, Kevin? Like, and again, like, he's a much better player than me, much more experienced than me. He must know what he's doing. But I'm just like, that feels like something you don't tap out for. But he did, still won, didn't get punished for it. So he must have known what he's doing. And obviously that momentum, that little chink of damage must have been worthwhile, So,
yeah, the first time I played Eraserhead was last year during the Common Grounds first event that UVS did for Webcam Weekly. I started off with either one, and then I decided into Eraserhead as and when needed, and I still struggle even to this day of knowing when to erase my opponent's character.
Exactly. Like, you need to know when to press that button, and it's not straightforward.
It's judgment call, and you've got to make it when the attack's played. You can't do it later on, and
you need to know how your deck works. You need to know how your opponent decks works. You need to know the key points and like the key time to do that sort of shit. When you can afford to, when you can afford not to, what your risks are, what you're actually going to be blocking, like all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm too old for that shit, man. I just want to get people dead. And so this would be, I think if I were to play a race ahead and try a thing, it'd be this one. Because I like the kind of, actually, I'm just going to blow you up kind of aspect to it.
No, it's decent. But I think...
Huge congratulations to Kevin. Back to back is huge. And obviously one of if not the favourite going into US Nats.
But if this is what he's
God
playing,
knows what he's playing.
yeah,
I don't know whether he play a race ahead.
that's what.
The kind of those two the big playbooks like big play groups like your Rochesters and your unfun stuffs. They will have cooked something up, right? I'd imagine Tim and Kevin have cooked something up.
Yeah, I can see Kings.
And if Kevin was intending on playing this deck at Nationals, there's no way he's playing that at Vegas.
Unless he's that confident in it.
No. Well, maybe he is. Maybe he's just one of the reps, and it's a known.
Again, so Omar against an experienced Eraser one player, Mirio is not winning that if the Eraserhead knows what they're doing, because all your attacks are basic mid as is.
You just get blocked, you get erased. You get brokered.
You get blocked, you get erased, you get committed out. They come back on the backswing. They seal your area. You're just going to spend the entire time more worried about what you're doing going into them than you are going. If you're running a lot of off mid attacks already and you're not just relying on rejuvenating and back alley and all these mid attacks as printed to get through, you might have a bit more time, but there's not many characters that want to go into a Razorhead.
No.
Even other Razorheads don't want to go into a Razorhead.
No, I don't know what his bad matchup is. Like, Giro might genuinely be at like a 53% or something, might be one of his worst matchups. I don't know. Or like just people that can blow him up on turn.
Yeah.
Tokiyami's probably fairly decent into a Razorhead, right? Because
we saw the weekend. It comes down to the draw on the players.
Yeah.
Like. I messed up with my Bakugo when I was playing against an Oceania player. I sealed Bakugo and my opponent didn't really do any of the responses. And then Apple went, yeah, he could have responded. I was like, I didn't tell him he couldn't respond. I just told him I was sealing his character.
Mm-hmm.
That's not on me. But yeah, that's a mistake I made. I'm still learning. There's a lot of people that are still new to this game. I'm counting like to 16 months still new to the game.
Yeah. Okay, so we got one final thing where I get to gloat.
Yep.
It was a hard fought battle, realistically, between me and Adam, all season, and yeah, going into that top cuts, I had three characters. Adam had two. So it's all dependent on how it finished. And I was 6 points behind him going into it. And yeah, just squeaked out off the back of Kevin winning off my race head. And everyone else on our teams got knocked out in that first round. So yeah, obviously the UA guys, they did well.
I would personally like to thank Matt. Yeah, I'd personally like to thank Matt for not getting 3 more points and have everybody being double the score of me.
Sorry, Omar, we're just talking about the draft. Chris still with the highest score in one event. Rochester smashing it with 31 points, so highest single score. Adam was obviously the most consistent. He only had this was the only event with under double figures.
Yeah.
I was obviously just on the back of webcam and Gen Con in that last event.
Rochester's where you got your big points. That's where Chris got his big points. Yeah,
Rochester. Hard fought match, Adam. But commiserations. You suck. Everyone else sucks. I am the winner.
We have got the community draft up as well. We've got currently 20 people taking part, which is really good. But I will be closing it tomorrow evening after I finish packing because I'm leaving Thursday morning and I don't want to be messing about with it when I'm chilling with the Southampton guys. And then it'd be very bad form to allow people to draft after the first event's happened.
That is fair. And
right.
yeah, I think on that note, we'll see you all at Nationals.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone watching on YouTube, press the buttons. It really helps. Only takes 2 seconds of your time.
It'd be a
Just gets our numbers
huge,
up.
yeah, it'd be a huge help in us getting previews, box openings, having a better relationship with UVS, and getting a little bit more.
And
Thanks.
obviously, thanks for everyone in chat watching.
Yeah.
And chatting along with us. So obviously, the chat sort of talked about your deck list and stuff. So it's really cool to be able to chat to you while we're doing this.
And if you are interested in our deck list, we do have deck profiles on the YouTube. I think the latest one was a Shoto 2 order one that I put up. But thanks, Omar. We hope. I'm just looking forward to chilling out with some people. I hope everyone has a great time, and I hope Richard feels confident in the deck that he's going to play, because at the minute you seem to be a bit and ahhing.
Oh, it'll be fine. Anyway, see you guys later. Thanks very much.
1 second.
Good luck at Nationals.
Right, I'll catch you in a bit. Bye.